All right. Hi everyone. I'm Aaron Nguyen. I'm a technical
Mhm.
lead for our
Mhm.
GDG at George Mason University, and today we have our very special guest, Tony Nguyen.
Mhm.
He's a engineer, software engineer at Google.
Mhm.
Hi Tony.
Hi, Aaron. Nice to meet you and everyone. Mhm.
Yeah. So let's get to know a little bit about yourself.
Mhm.
Can you quickly tell us like who you are so we can understand
Mhm.
you better?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Nguyen, and I'm currently a software engineer in AI infrastructure in Google. And I just joined Google for a year, so I think that my experience with job hunting is easier for like fit with you guys more. And a cool fact that I have is I'm coming from a no-name school. My school name's Bard College. It has a really high rank in art, but not computer science. So I might have a really interesting point of view for you guys as a
Yes.
guest. Mhm.
Okay, nice. So we love a humble guy.
Mhm.
So let's do some icebreaker. Are you a coffee or tea person?
I would like coffee more, but in fact, it's a Vietnamese coffee, and
Oh yeah.
a Vietnamese coffee, which is nice. Hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah. We know it. I think Vietnamese coffee is very popular,
Hmm.
especially when it's me at Mason. We at Virginia. We have a lot of Vietnamese, and I think the same in the Mountain View. Um,
Hmm. Yep.
so what's your favorite programming language?
My favorite program language was Java. I worked a lot in Java, but then when I go to Google, I need to learn C++. Currently, I'm still using C++, but my favorite programming language is still Java. Hmm.
Java. Okay.
Hmm.
Last question of the icebreaker. For the last 2 years, what's your favorite technology uh,
Yeah.
for the last 2 years, like new
It,
technology?
Oh, new technologies. I think for the last 2 years, I think that I think everyone knows about ChatGPT or clouds has a really good like full stack skills. So I usually do my personal projects with like those AI, and it's really fun because it's I don't need to care much about syntax and front end a lot. That is really good tools.
Okay, let's go more into tech. Where did you study about the school and what did you major in? I know you mentioned your school is not like one of the biggest school, but let us know.
Yes. So my school is Bard College, and I'm majoring in computer science. Bard College is a small school in upper town of New York, and why I call it a no-name school because my CS department is around only 40 people, like 40 people, including professor and everyone. So around five professors, I think. Yes. So it's not many. It's not a big department for CS in especially in university. Mhm.
I see, I see. So coming from a small school, like you mentioned, what do you think is the most challenging, the most challenge that you have to face when you're looking for a job compared to other school with maybe a more popular name?
Mhm. I think that the most the hardest thing is not the knowledge. The hardest thing is the resources,
Mm,
because for example, my school doesn't have a really good like career fair. The career fair was just like a local companies that related to arts asking students to join a company, but not there's no company related to software or tech. So the resources is really different. And a funny fact is my school when I was joining, my school doesn't offer like CPT. So CPT was for the F1 students. I need to use my old OPT to do the internships. So yes,
Oh, I see, I
yes.
see. Yeah,
Mhm.
so that's definitely very challenging. I think it's we looking at a very different
Mhm.
job market right now, and
Mhm.
especially for me and you as international student, the challenge that we have to face definitely gonna add some more layer to it.
Mhm.
Given that your school doesn't have like a lot of resources or job fair, right? How
Mhm.
what's the main tool or like what's the main approach that you have done to look for a job?
Okay, so because my school doesn't have any resource, so when I was in my first year, I realized that I cannot depend on my school.
Okay.
So I worked. Luckily, at that time there was a lot of like closed down because of COVID. So most of the competitions for hackathons and everything was online. So I find my hackathons myself, and then find like a meeting, coffee chat with others by myself online, and it was a great resource at that time because no one want to go to in persons, and it was great for me because I was from a no name school, so no one knows about me if I need to join to if it in persons. So yes, it was a great opportunity for me, but uh, yes, it takes a long time for me to get all of those resources to become better in my writing, my resume, and everything.
Oh yeah, that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think hackathon is a great way to
Mm-hmm.
improve your skill.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it sounds obvious, but I feel
Mm-hmm.
like people, student, at least for my own experience during college,
Mm-hmm.
there's only a subset of student who like if you
Yeah,
go to hackathon, you kind of see the
yeah,
same people,
yeah.
right? Like
Mm-hmm. Yes.
can you tell a little bit more about the
Mm-hmm.
hackathon and your experience during
Mm-hmm.
college, and what kind of project did you do, and what kind of experience that you learned after each hackathon?
Mm-hmm. So for hackathon, I think I have joined more than like after my 4 years, I have joined more than 40 hackathons, like including online because at first I cannot like at first I can any hackathon I join I will fail, right? That
Yeah.
our experience. But then I met with a lot of people, learn a lot from them, and the best thing I think that hackathon will give you is the
Mm.
pressure of having it done, the pressure of like do you need to done the product, having the product to be done. So I think that makes me to learn a lot, and I keep progressing, and then I think I have like 5 or 6 hackathon achievements. So it was, and even like I have one big hackathon achievement which was from Google. So it was a fun experience, and I need to try a lot. But yes.
Did you win any hackathon, or maybe get any achievement from those hackathon before your first internship?
Uh, Before my first internship, I think I have won one. I think
Mm.
it's not like a hackathon. To be honest, the price, not the real price, is like the usage of Google Cloud. And at that time, I think not many people use Google Cloud, right? At that time, people
Mm.
keep care about full stacks more. When I
I
was
see.
using Google Clouds, and then I used that as one of my achievement in my internship at my second years. So I think that might stand out during my second year right now. At that time.
Okay, I see. So you did have access to Google Cloud, and that's your focus, like because you mentioned other people uh at the time they care more about maybe do full stack or like React or like
Mhm,
build a very cool website, but
mhm,
you did something a little bit different. Now talking
mhm,
about Google Cloud, we
mhm,
as GDG do have Google Cloud for the winner of our hackathon, so check it out.
mhm.
Okay, so why Google Cloud?
Why I choose Google Cloud or why
Oh,
I
is that I understand the price is you have access to
mhm,
Google Cloud so you can do more
mhm,
project, but like what
mhm,
exactly did you do? Like what kind of technology did you do during those times?
mhm. During that time we don't have a thing called AI, so every full stack
Mm,
you need to do it yourself, right? I think many people will, including my sister, she usually use like MongoDB, if you remember that. And it was a local database. I was thinking like, why not moving into Firebase, right? So
mm,
I think the most thing I use is Firebase, which is the same thing. At that time, I don't think we have Superbase, like, or at least the Superbase doesn't
yeah,
have like big names enough. So I use Firebase, learn how to authentications, and yeah, it was a fun experience. It took like 3 or 4 days of non-sleeping and learn about
yeah.
that. But at that time, it was really good problem-solving skills.
I see. I see.
Mhm,
Yeah, I remember during hackathon, like of course you see a lot of people and you definitely learn a lot. And also there's
mhm.
free food, right? Usually
Yeah.
that's the case. So for
Mhm,
computer science student, it's like every time you see a Papa John box of
yeah.
pizza, sometimes you feel like, oh yeah, okay, you feel like you go back to school when
Mhm,
you doing those hackathon together. Okay,
mhm,
so now you did have some success.
mhm,
With the hackathon. Even I think you should give yourself some credit, even your first year.
mhm,
So when did you start learning to program? Because I know for a lot of people that
mhm,
imagining that they can even build an app or even just
mhm,
a proof of concept kind of app using
mhm,
their first year, it seemed like very a foreign idea.
mhm. Okay, that's a good question. So, in fact, I think my whole view is that you is I think that I should try before I think
Yeah.
because every time I think, I will think that what if I cannot do this? What if I cannot do this? So my life lesson is try first, do everything that I can, and then think about it later because that is what I do during my whole 4 year. I always try things first, although it's maybe sometimes it's like risky or maybe it's like time consuming. But try first because it's still in my university life. And yep, by trying a lot of things, I also achieve a lot of life lessons and meet a lot of new people. Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's a very good answer because I feel like for technology, everything moves very fast. So I think you can really be very sure about your
Mhm.
skill at any point. So
Mhm.
what we learned from Tony today, just especially for so hackathon as an
Mhm.
experience, is to me hackathon is a wonderful experience to even just have fun with friends
Mhm.
and learn something new. So don't think too much and then just learn and you would get something out of it anyway. Maybe it's not the
Yeah.
prize, but maybe it's a good experience and definitely
Mhm.
gonna have the opportunity to learn the skill. Okay,
Mhm.
so now you at Google, and
Mhm.
how long have you been a Googler, right?
Yes, it's been almost like a year. I would say almost a year. Hmm.
So, what's a typical day or maybe a week
Hmm.
as a software engineer at Google? Because I know a lot of our audience would love to know what it's like to
Hmm.
be there. Because everyone, it seems like it's like one of the big destination of a lot of computer science students. Tell it
Hmm.
how it's like.
I think is I wouldn't say like YouTuber who say that one day as a software engineer in Google, like the video like 2 to 3 years ago. I won't
Yeah.
do like that. So I was for I would say a week. Okay, so a week I have a lot of projects going on. I need a project. Some project need to progress, and I know I need to ask people, ask my leads or ask my coworkers to take a look in my commit and everything. And I also fix some bugs and develop like I think the most important skill is like during the week is developing your own projects, like your work responsibilities. And at least in my team, we have a lot of flexibility. So as long as you do is do you can work in any times, even some. So my lead was at 2 a.m. So my coworker was at 9 p.m. But as long as you progress correctly and everything works correctly and uh, works keep progressing, I think they don't care whether you like work at home or do anything during the day, which is nice of my team.
I
Mhm.
see, I see. So, if you can tell us what kind of team or like what kind of product your team are working on, and like you don't need to tell the detail, of course,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
what kind of project or what kind of tools, like just let us
Mhm.
imagine daily work of a software engineer.
Okay. So I would say some a bit of my teams only. So things like about AI. AI need to train like a trainings, right? They cannot training on your own personal laptops because it take a lot of times. They need a training on a thing called virtual machines. Virtual machines is machines that is like a laptop, but it's only used for training or other services which is faster than your laptop. Some of them have like 200 like gigabytes of RAMs, which is a lot. So my team was managing those virtual machines and also connecting with other big teams like Google DeepMind or some of the other teams to use those virtual machines. And so I would say that my team is between the high level and the low level because we connect between the customers and the low level, which is the virtual machines.
I see. So in brief, you have Google DeepMind, right? Like very
Mhm.
big on research, and
Mhm.
uh, and then they apply their work on some product, and you guys are
Mhm.
like the middle guy who do the infrastructure, right? So
Mhm.
you make
Yeah.
it possible for the idea to be realized, which is
Yeah.
very important. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we've been talking a lot about cloud, and I have to say I definitely changed my mind a lot. Like I
Mhm.
think for the last 3 years when I look at cloud, because before I thought it's just another kind of technology, but nowadays everything's on cloud.
Mhm.
If I'm not mistaken, I learned somewhere that even Netflix, the whole
Mhm.
movies
Mhm.
company, they have everything on cloud. So they
Mhm.
store every movie and all the process is run on cloud, which is
Mhm.
amazing. I
Mhm.
think definitely cloud is going to be even more important if we see that the trend with the new AI and people need to
Yep.
train more and more and host their models somewhere.
Mhm.
Okay, so for now, let's keep talking about Google. What's your favorite thing about working there?
I think my favorite thing is, at least for my team, I am a one I would say I am a workaholic.
Mm,
So because my team moving really fast and everyone is friendly and we have a lot of projects. So I think that is the best that I like because I will have a lot of projects to going on. Like I will concentrate on like keep learning myself, like and other coworkers, and yeah, that is a really great experience in Google that I have in during my this whole year. Mhm.
I see. So, I mean, I'm sure you're very busy, and because you're working for one of the biggest company
Mhm.
in the tech industry, so a lot of project and a lot of work. How do you balance your life between and not even like work life balance, right? Like how do you
Mhm.
balance just the fact that you need to perform for your
Mhm.
project and then still keep in touch with what's going on in the world, like keep in touch
Mhm.
with the new technology, right? Because I
Mhm.
know a lot of people they can after sometimes they can be very efficient about
Mhm.
their own project or the team
Mhm.
project, but like with all the new technology, we still need some time to learn, right?
Mhm. I usually so during my free time I usually do keep doing hackathons, right? Because hackathon is the best way for you to learn like a new framework, a new like technologies. So for example, I have learned about HP and Nvidia has a new Studio AI. I think that I'm trying that hackathon for fun. I don't know whether I will submit anything on yet or not, but it was fun. At least like I learned from it. So I usually do hackathon during my free times, and to time management between work life balance, I have a really strict schedules because
Mm.
so at that time I want to do something. So I will wake up at sevens and do all the stuff, or either doing Google stuff, and I have a really strict schedule. So at that time, I should be eating. At this time, I should be like exercising. So that is how I balance my life, so that I'm not overextending my health and not overextending my work. Mhm.
I see. Yeah, that's something we all can learn from. Even myself, I feel like even managing your own time life is sometimes can be very challenging when you
Yep.
have more than just one thing to do. Okay,
Mhm.
so any surprise or like because a lot of people mention like working in the industry is very different from let's say doing a hackathon or
Mhm.
maybe working on your project school. So what is something that surprised you the most when you become like when you join the workforce and
Mhm.
also what surprised you the most about Google?
I think the most surprising me is the flow of like developing a features, right? Developing a features you need like approval from your leads, and it takes a long time. Sometimes the first time I was surprised that why my doc haven't got approval. Even I pinged them like a week ago, right? Because they have their own stuff, right? You need to. The thing is, and I'm afraid of pinging them to be bother them. But after joining Google, I know that hey, we have our own priorities, right? So if you have your priorities and I have priority, I will need to ping them if I think that my priority has some like it needs some attentions. So those scare like I usually like scared of like pinging people, and then I get used to that because I think that that's the only way for my project to progress, and I stop being shy and everything. And it was a really, I would say it's a like collaborations between workers, right? It's an industry that is different from research that I have ever done. Mhm.
I see. Yeah, that's very nice because I still believe that I think the majority of computer science students like me and you
Mhm.
are introvert. So
Yeah.
sometimes it can feel like you bothering other people
Mhm.
if you don't think your question is worth asking, right? So it's
Yeah. Mhm.
very comforting to know that you can work and thrive in an environment that people are there to help you and you can also have the chance to help other.
Mhm.
Okay, um so last thing about your life as a Google. So
Mhm.
how's the pressure of working in the top tech company? What kind of
Um,
pressure have you have to dealing with every day? Yeah.
I think this is like a confidential question, but okay. I would
Mm,
say that cloud is growing, right?
mm,
Google Cloud is growing really fast. So yes, we do have a pressure. We do have a pressure of like delivering projects and have a good projects for customer, right? We want to have a good experience for customers. So we have obviously we have pressure, but I think that growth pressure I think is the same like hackathons, and I think that's why I urge people to go to hackathons because when you have a pressure of hackathons already, I think that the pressure in industry is almost the same because they urge you to do something fast now, right? So I think that that's how I think that I feel is normally because I have experience for a long time already, but it was a good. I think that the pressure helps me more than like make me tired or something, because it asks me to learn faster. Hey, I'm learning too slow. I need to learn faster and do this project to be done. I think it's a good pressure as a worker. I think it's a good pressure.
yeah, okay. So thank you for all this. I know is
Mhm.
a lot of pressure working for any job, but
Mhm.
especially because we know that Google definitely have some very big projects, especially you when you're working in the cloud industry, one of the I think one of the fastest growing
Mhm.
subsection of the industry. So okay, now we know you working at Google, which is
Mhm.
amazing, right? So now let's talk about how to get there. The I think the first thing would be, how do you think, is there anything that you think most people don't understand about interviewing in general? Like, because a lot of people have said to me that even I face the same challenge sometimes when I try to apply for internship. It's like we know
Mhm.
it's competitive, especially with
Mhm.
the current market, but
Mhm.
a lot of the time people still have the same mistake when they do their resume or even how to get an interview. So let's
Mhm.
before how to ace your interview, let's talk about what to prepare before you get
Mhm.
an interview.
Mhm. So before the interviews, you need. I think the most the round that like cross out 90% of people is resume screening, right?
Yes.
I would say 90, or I would say there's no specific number, but most people like cross out by resume screening, and people keep like I think that they don't care much about your resume because they think that resume is just a thing that you need to do to submit to the like a job poster, but no, resume is your report. So things like a report to your professor for 4 years, and you give a bad report, obviously they don't want to give you good grades. So and the hiring managers is caring about that more because they have a lot of good resumes. So like good, like some resume have an A plus, but they don't choose, right? So you need to compete with those resume. So I think that resume is the most important thing during the hiring process because that is the the only way that you can get to the like any company is by having a good resumes first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So I know because we talked before the this in the talk today, and you mentioned you do have some experience with mentoring like younger people to uh, try their best to do the same. So now I know resume is very important, right? And I think everyone want to have the best resume that they can. So let's
Mhm.
say, but you only have that much experience. So
Mhm.
for let's say for an average computer science student with their experience, right? Like we don't want to talk about like maybe do a join more hackathon to improve your
Mhm.
resume. The same resume. What is
Mhm.
something that you think people can do right now to just make it maybe just a little bit better?
For right now, I think that the if you cannot change anything, I think you should write your resume as like an XYZ format, the bullet. If you know, so you can search it on Google the XYZ by Google
Mm,
recruiters,
I see.
and that will shows more of your like impact, right? Because recruiter want to know things like this. Recruiter is the recruit of a company, so the company want to know how do you benefit the other companies. They don't care about your personal projects. They don't care about your tech stacks that much until you get into right until you get into the like inner routes. The recruiter want to know how you impact the companies. So you should rewrite that into XYZ, X doing X, you're doing X by using Y technology and impacting Z, like Z percent or Z people or anything. That is, yes, that is a thing that you can just consider. People keep thinking about, and another tips is people keep thinking bad about certifications, right?
Mm,
Everyone don't want to have certification and they think they are useless. Oh, in some sense, it is right. In some sense, it is when you like you human red, right? Human red thinks that certification is bad, but I think it's easier if it is like machine read, right? That's I have tried it before. So if it is machine read, what is called ATS, they will read by the machines and they will care more about the keywords, like some certification from Google, some certification from other companies, from big names like MIT, Harvard, Stanford. So those names will I wouldn't say it's guarantee you to get into, but it's helping you somehow into like readable like humans reading routes. So I think those are the two that you if you don't change anything, develop your resume, you can change right now and then start your applications.
I see. Yeah. So
Mhm.
talking about ATS is a
Mhm.
very interesting point because I think right now what's frustrates people a lot is sometimes it definitely feel like you got rejected by the machine and no one actually read your resume.
Mhm.
I think on the other side, right? If you look at all the job posting, you can see like let's say Google post a job posting today, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, you see a lot of applicants. So
Mhm.
it's understandable for them to
Mhm.
find a way to can
Faster.
quickly
Mhm.
yeah can find their candidate faster. But
Mhm.
what is something that you think is so how do we kind of like uh, do better so we don't get rejected from the ATS?
I'm not knowing
Yeah,
anything about ATS. Obviously, I'm a software
yeah,
engineer,
yeah,
but I'm a job applicant. So I have tested with different resume, and
yeah.
I think that the thing is a big tech name is a problem, right? Like
Mm,
a big names like Harvard, Stanford, Google, Meta, Amazon is a big names. I think that ATS will discover that a lot
mm,
because there's the big keywords, right? So obviously, if you don't have an internships, how can you do, right? But if you don't have an internships, you can have it by hackathons or certifications. Is it's not a cheating, right? Is basically a tips because if you have those words, you have more percentage of going into the next round, which is human red. And then human red, if your resume is bad enough, like obviously the recruiter will just deny it. But that
Yeah.
is an easier way to get through the ATS. But right now, for now, I don't think that the ATS is. I think the ATS is growing too, and everything is like keep. And that was my experience with my mentees and myself last year. But I think that ATS is growing. So
So what do you
so
mean by when you say ATS is growing? Is it smarter now, or like, is it doing a better
yes,
job now?
it is smarter to cross people now, and
Oh,
also
okay, I see.
they have a higher bar. So
Mm.
I don't know about the bar, obviously, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the only thing that I can do is testing with the resumes. So you should, if you they able to, you should like do A/B testing with your resume, and to make sure that like your resume is good fit to those
Mm.
ATS system.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. I think everyone should try to uh, kind of like modify their resume so they can be like a good fit for any
Mhm.
job that they apply. I think at the end
Mhm.
of the day, the goal of the company is also looking for someone to solve this specific problem that
Mhm.
hopefully you can see from the job description and just put your best foot forward. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's resume. So before we talk about other things, what about lead code? What's
Oh.
your what's your experience with lead code? Because I know it's supposed to be like one of the. I mean, of course, when I say lead code, it's the same for hacker rank or other thing. It's supposed to be one of the best way for you to practice. But what do you think is a good strategy to do this?
My okay, so Lico is a really interesting problem for me
Yeah, please.
because I have only 66 Lico questions. Like I only saw 66. So when I
Mm,
told that to my mentees, and he just said that how you got past to go only 66, right?
yeah.
But and I show him the ways that Lico is not problem solving. I would say Lico is pattern matching.
Mm,
Like if you see that the knowledge is limited, the knowledge is from your first year to the fourth year. That's no those knowledge in just like limited. In fact, it's only in two classes: algorithms and DSA, right? So you only need to learn those like knowledge and do the pattern matching. Pattern matching means that I usually do need code 150. I don't even do like the whole 150, but I ask my mentee to memorize all the patterns, and like try to learn about the patterns instead of doing daily, right? Doing daily, well, it works fine. It's like math. If you're doing daily, it's good for you, but it doesn't help you as problem solving because
I
lead code
see.
is basically pattern matching.
I see. I
And
see.
and yes, my mentee is like six different offer in interviews and even go to Netflix final rounds because Netflix final round was a funny thing. He got a system design
Mm,
as a new class, no, as a internships, which is crazy. But it's yes, I think that lead code is just pattern matching. You try to do your best in pattern matching, and I think that should be good instead of like doing every day. Well, doing every day is fine, but you should like learn how to like actually learn it. What
I
is
see.
that question?
I see. Yeah. So what we're saying here is, I think doing lead code by itself is good to practice, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not like you need to be doing like 1,000 question,
Yeah.
right? And I agree with you, like maybe abscess because I think even on the website, like
Mm-hmm.
you have let's say 150 questions,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of divide them into a topic. Like for example, you do array, you have hash
Mm-hmm.
map or you have linked lists or like different kind. So I guess you
Mm-hmm.
should definitely take a look and then practice. But at the end of the day, you cannot guarantee that you're gonna get the same
Yeah.
question. So maybe it's better
Mm-hmm.
to understand what is the question is really is about and make
Mm-hmm.
sure you have very strong foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so about your interview, let's how is the interview at Google? Like how many interview did you do and did you do any lead code to prepare for that, or did they ask you any lead code is kind of question?
Mhm. I during my second years, because I got my internship stats. So
Mm,
during my second years, I don't do any lead code that much. I think it's like 5 questions. I don't know, 5 or 6 questions only. And the thing is, because at that time I only learned DSA, right? Like DSA, so they are those languages not much. So I just learned DSA, learn the patterns of those questions, and I have like 3 interviews. I think usually people have like 2 interviews, but one of my interview was bad, so I have another addition one to try again. And then luckily I got past that interviews. So that is for steps. I don't remember what is for SWE. SWE is for SWE intern. I think I have like three or four, interviews. But for new grad, they have like 5. Well,
right.
6 if so. One on site have like 5 on site interview or virtual on site, and the other one is like a first interview. So 4 interviews or something. So they want to
I see.
test you first before they go to virtual on site. So around 6 interviews in total about lead coding. That's what I remember from my other colleague. So yep. So it's a lot of interviews.
Yeah, I mean, definitely is it can it must be very challenging. But so let's say you did your interview and we talk about how to prepare for your resume, like the importance of having a good resume and how you should like practicing like lead code or hacker rank in an efficient way, right?
Mhm,
How about let's say I think in an ideal world, people want I think the best way to get a job offer is still through an internship. I
mhm,
think I read somewhere. I think it's still the most consistent way that company look for new talent by
mhm,
maybe like have them do an internship, and if they do well, then they'll retrain so they can join the company and work in like right away.
mhm,
So is that any different? Because I'm sure Google is not the
mhm,
only company you apply, and is there
mhm,
any difference between big company like
mhm,
Google, Amazon, Facebook, or Meta
mhm,
now
mhm,
compared to other company? Because I know right now the market is not ideal, so
mhm,
maybe for a lot of people it may be a good strategy to start with some uh, mid-sized company, even some startup. And if they want
mhm,
to move to Google in the future, having some experience is definitely help. How do you
mhm,
think is the main difference between going to the top dog in the industry compared to like
mhm.
a startup or like a mid-sized company?
I think that I have tried startup too, so I think I can have like 2 different experience. So in Google, I learned a lot about scalability, right? Like because everything you need to scale, every project you need to think about whether it's scale or not, whether it is like fit for all people, right? So it cares more about scalability, which you don't learn in startups, right? Startup, you only have a small set of customer. Like Google has like millions.
I
So
see, I
yes,
see.
I
Yeah,
think that will bring a lot of difference, and you need to learn about you learn a lot from the I would say your coworkers or your leads
I
because
see,
they know a lot of experience. In startup, I think you do. I think the best way for startup is like building from scratch, right? You know everything building from scratch from the beginning. So if I usually advise my mentee is go into big tech first to learn about scalability and do startup later.
I
Because
see.
when you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
yeah, you know how to
Okay.
scale, right? You know how to
I
scale
see.
and you
Yeah,
know
because
yeah.
the those startup companies they need to build from scratch and build a good
Mm-hmm.
product,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they become a big company, then they need
Yeah.
to scale. But
Mm-hmm.
what I'm more interested in is like well, about the application process is how do is there any difference between applying for Google, let's say, and apply for a startup or a mid-sized company? Is
Mm-hmm.
there any difference in how you should approach or how you should maybe like the strategy? Is there any difference?
Like different in applications or something? Like
Like when you apply for Google, like looking for
mm-hmm.
a job, like applying
Mm-hmm.
for a startup or applying for a job at a mid-sized company at Google, is there any different? Because I know a lot of people have strategy that maybe right now they apply to 10 jobs and they want to maybe focus more on the startup or the mid-sized company because the perception is supposed to be less competitive, right?
Mhm.
So what do you think about this?
I think that the thing is, I think that people should stream big, like dream bigger, because if you think that startup is easier to get in, I would say no, it's not. Right? Some still startup is really hard to get in. One of my friend who has like Microsoft, well, he has like three internships in big tech, Microsoft, Google, and I think it's Apple's. He failed to get into startup like interviews because the question is really hard. The question is related to like building from trash, so it's really hard for them to like start up with that. So I would say that you should try both because both of them are like in different polar. One of them is scalability, the other one building from scratch. So yes, I would advise people to apply for both and trim bits. Maybe you will get to Google someday.
Yeah, okay, that's a good message. We should dream big, and I think at the end of the day, you don't like you apply for a job, and you should apply for, to be honest, like as many jobs as you can, and
Mm-hmm.
it's your job, right? Your job is to apply,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're a good fit, then hopefully the company can see the value that you can bring to the company. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so another thing, so we know that you want to do hackathon and we you talk about it of how valuable those experience can be and also um, when you do internship, right? But we all know not everyone can have an internship, especially during this time, and one of the things that people still rely on is building a personal project. And
Mm-hmm.
how do you think a personal project can help people with, let's say, not a lot of internship experience?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can also share some of the projects that you have done in the past and how do you think it helped you during your
Mm-hmm.
job search?
I would say not my personal project because my personal project is like really bad. But
But you
yes, I
also have
can.
like hackathon and internship, right? So it's kind
Yeah,
of even.
yeah. I would say that I have read a lot of resumes,
Mm.
so I would say that I would rank the personal project like this. Personal project, the lowest rank was personal project for personal use. Like you use it for
Mm.
learning, you use for trying new technologies. You have no impacts, right? The second one is small hackathons. Small hackathon means that you go into school hackathons, you win it with your projects. Hey, you have some achievement. That's impacts. The third one would be the big hackathon, which is corporate hackathons like Google, Meta, Amazon, Salesforce. A lot of people like have a big hackathons. The last one, the highest rank, I would divide by two again. One is more like entrepreneurships, and one is more research. Entrepreneurships means that you make an app that many people want to use, right? You make an app that like millions of people or even like thousands of people want to use. They're willing to pay that. Yep, congratulations. You have good impact projects. The second one is open source contributor. Open source contributor, not many people cares about that, right? Because people just like upload to GitHub, it doesn't care. But open source contributor is the thing that even senior engineer cannot do, right? Because senior engineer try to be open source contributor, but they cannot do it because it's really hard to like get past like the committee that approve your changes in the big open source project like DeepSeek or Google Kubernetes or anything. So I have read multiple resume, and only one person that I see get the highest rank, which is open source contributor. And yep, I think that is the only point that he get pass resume screening and also get two offer from Meta and Google
I see.
because
I
that
see.
that open source contributor is fantastic. I would say that it's really crazy that I see that is he solved the issue is really important.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
see. I see. I think I agree with you because I know. I mean, personally, myself, when I learn a new technology, I think we all did that. Like, it's so
Mhm.
so common to see people have experience with like Udemy or Coursera courses, and when maybe they even include those project, or even some we can call those homework, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you implement some code, some functionality, maybe like machine
Mm-hmm.
learning. But the thing is, it's already a solution, and you kind of
Mm-hmm.
just like get to know it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it definitely matter more when you apply what you learn into something maybe authentic, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can. I really like the point you bring when it comes to open sources,
Mm-hmm.
because I think it definitely can show that you can contribute and you can work
Mm-hmm.
with other people code, right? Which is very
Mm-hmm.
important, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when you work alone, you understand everything. The documentation of your code maybe not as good, and it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely not up par to the level of a professional that those are like many companies are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know that personal project is it's better if you can actually do something like new, authentic, or maybe an open source. Because I know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, even though I have one friend who's he's worked for a startup now, and
Mm-hmm.
one of his project is just because he was applying for a job like
Mm-hmm.
I think 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
the and he gets so tired of clicking and just like be online on LinkedIn all the time. So what he did
Mm-hmm.
is uh, also, for disclaimer, he's a data engineer.
Mm-hmm.
He built like a software, not like an
Mm-hmm.
app, but more like just a back.
Extensions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when he did what he did, he just like crawl all the data from
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn every day and update it. So he always have in his database. I think he use Postgres. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Postgres SQLs.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, and also like Airflow and something I'm not really familiar with, but I know that it's automatically run every day to make sure
Mm-hmm.
that the data is live, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
he do all the process from crawling the data, how to design table in a relational database system, and do all this like ETL, right? Extract,
Mm-hmm.
transform, and load stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we also do like recommendation for himself, like given his
Yeah.
resume, what is the best keyword, or maybe how to do keyword matching, right? NER or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. So I think
Mm-hmm.
I personally still believe that if you can do open source or hackathon, I think it's still much better than doing a personal project that uh,
Mm-hmm.
something like that people done before and you just follow it.
Yeah.
But I think
Mm-hmm.
if that's your only choice, then I think
Mm-hmm.
a project that you passionate about and definitely spend, and it can show that you know what you're doing, and then
Mm-hmm.
you definitely put some effort in it. I think it's still much better than, because I know a lot of people have project like every 3 4 months they have a new project, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just not technically hard. I think that's how
Mm-hmm.
I view it, and it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely more rewarding when you do something hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and
I I
yeah,
think that
please.
personal some personal projects that I look at actually more impactful than internships, right? More than a
Yeah,
normal internships because it
okay.
shows that you are like working yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think it also show that I at least like with my friend, it's easier to say now because he had a job. So,
yeah,
but definitely show that he care about what he do, right?
yeah.
He did that, and he has a reason. And I think he told me during the interview, people definitely asked about his project, and he makes sure that he know every single detail, because
Mhm.
when you do something like I did before, like for machine learning. When I start learning machine learning, I just follow the Jupyter notebook. Even if I type everything myself, I'm still looking at the solution and get used to like like the framework. I may
Mhm.
not understand everything, and I think it's definitely not something that you want when you're
Mhm.
looking for a job. Okay, so the
Mhm.
last thing about job searching is a topic that I have mixed feeling about, which is networking. Now,
Yes.
let's say we done our resume, we done our
Mhm.
project, we done our hackathon, and
Mhm.
how important is networking in your own experience?
I think that my from my experience, I am networking a lot because I was in Upper Town, New York, so we don't have a networking events. But I have tried with my mentees, and I think that networking is pretty good. Like he has his first internship through networking in with Stanley Morgan's, right?
Stanley Morgan.
So yes, so by networkings, and I also asked him to like people think that co-emails won't work. In fact, co-email works. But the thing is, how can you find those emails, right? The only way that you can do is by networking, finding more people, understand more people, introduce yourself, and talking to conference. Even like I asked the mentee to pay some money to go to conference, right?
Oh, like job conference. I
Yeah,
see.
job conference or even like Google. Well, don't just go with Google Next. Google Next is expensive, but like all the conference, right? Those conference like in San Jose they have a lot, in Bay Area they have a lot, or in New York they have a lot, and all the state they have like their own conference. So I think that you should try like to go to conference, although it's like expensive for students, but I would say like 1,000 for a big conference, like $500 for a big conference for 2 days, like for the whole trips. I would say not bad, right? You have a potential of getting the jobs. The
Yeah,
first one.
I totally agree with you because I think there's some tech conference. There's one very popular for even like for women is
Mm-hmm. Woman.
GSC Grace Hopper,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's
Mm-hmm.
the same. I think in around the same time there's another conference for everyone. So
Mm-hmm.
there's definitely some conference. It is not cheap, but I think
Mm-hmm.
it definitely some investment that you may want to consider for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I myself as a PhD student, I went to some conferences for I mean it's for research, so it's slightly different. But even sometimes we every even for academia conference we have like sponsor for Amazon, Google, and sometimes we just have
Mm-hmm.
a conversation, and you never know, right? You never know. Maybe
Yep.
they're interested in your work, your profile. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
they like you as a person, so they may be more inclined to actually care about your resume. So
Mm-hmm.
put yourself out there. I think that's probably the best way.
But I think one tips for the students is don't just go in and ask people for job,
Yes,
right?
I
Let's
can
right.
you tell me what you mean by that?
Okay, let's think like this. You are a software engineer in something on recruiters, right? I know
Yeah.
that some students want jobs. We know that all of you want jobs, but as a persons, we want to approach like normally like friends and casually talks, right? So that we have a good impressions of you, right? So my tips to my a lot of people is research about them, like research about their company, research about their interests, maybe their LinkedIn, like stalk them. I wouldn't say stalk their personal like account or something.
But
Stalk
like
their LinkedIn.
do your
Yeah,
homework, right?
yeah. Do your homework, or maybe so. For example, I'm about to I'm about to join a PayPal conference the end of this month, and if I meet a software engineer in PayPal, I won't like just go in can what is our product or something like that, right? I need to
Mhm.
have some research. I need to know about what is the PayPal nearest announcements or something like that. So that makes them like correlated to us and they willing to talk more, right? Or maybe like talk about your teams or something like that, right?
Yeah, I
So
see.
I think that is the best way for you to learn, but not like let I always try to motivate people to not craving for job. Yes, job is good, but job is just your milestone in your life. You should be proud of yourself, confident, and then talk to people like as if they are friends. Because software engineer or recruiter is still humans.
Yeah,
They are not God.
I agree. Yeah,
Mhm,
I think it very sometimes it can be very hard spill to swallow because definitely
mhm,
like a lot like for a lot of people like maybe second year student, third year student, definitely they can still have more time. But for senior student who's I know even some people have after graduate and they spend the next maybe 6 8 months
mhm,
to look for a job during this current market, especially that we know that during 2022 I have this data. It like 480,000 job
mhm,
opening in I think the peak is in April 29 of
mhm,
2022, and now currently
mhm,
April 18 of this year is only
mhm,
half like 200,000. So
mhm,
we know it's hard, right? But
mhm,
it's nice to remember that applicant or even recruiter they're still human. So
mhm,
we definitely want to connect with them on the personal level first
mhm,
during those events,
mhm.
and then we can bring our resume and then talk to them
Yeah,
if they have a good connection. Because I think every recruiter there is to look for some potential candidates. So it's not like there's no secret that some of us are looking
yeah.
for a job and some of them to find a candidate. Just make it
Mhm.
um, a good experience for ourselves and also for the recruiter. I mean, it's definitely gonna favor
Mhm.
you much better than like you say,
Yeah.
just go in there and then hey, here are my resume, right?
Yeah, I think that the bachelor graduate like me, like most of them are the same resume, right? That you have
Yeah.
your all 4 years, so almost the same. You're not like PhD. You cannot dive in like 7 years of learning your specific fields. You only have 4 years. Most of the bachelor is the same. So how can they favor you more than the others? Is by your personal connections, right? You show that you have your gratefulness and everything. So hey, this will help you more than like harm you, right? So yes, as long although job searching is really tired, but please don't just go in and ask for a job. Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's definitely something that we need to remind ourselves because
Mhm.
doing so definitely not gonna give it a better chance, right? So we all here, we all engineer, we all computer science, we all try to optimize our probabilities, right? So that's
Mhm.
definitely something that can help out a little bit more. Okay,
Mhm.
so I think we talk a lot about how your experience as a software
Mhm.
engineer at Google, how did you do it, and some advice you had because you also like a mentor yourself with some
Mhm.
experience with helping other people. I think it's very valuable that you still that you bring us with some of your experience. I think it's very good for a lot of our audience who's about to graduate soon and also
Mhm.
looking for a role in the job market. So
Mhm.
let's to wrap up. How if you I think I really like this question because it's like so like when we talk about skill, there's technical skill and soft skill, right? Like
Mhm.
for example, I know a lot of people. Let's say there are two people on the same technical level, but some
Mhm.
people can really show their ability out more, maybe through
Mhm.
networking, or some
Mhm.
people write like posts on LinkedIn or maybe
Mhm.
Medium, right? So
Mhm.
it's more like advertising yourself. So
Mhm.
what is what do you think about this? I'm really
I
curious because like you
mhm.
never know how good someone is actually until you. I mean, it's
Yeah.
very hard for a recruiter to know how good you actually is, right?
Mhm. I see a lot of students or a lot of like students that's lower grade than me has a really good technical skill. Like they even like make a new models with like racks and AI. I was like, I don't know anything about this. They are really smart. But the problem is, yes, you have a for example, if your technical is a 10, I think I heard from someone in like Facebook ads or something. If your technical is a 10, but your explanation is a one, no one understand, right? But if your explanation, like if your technical skill is like 8, but your like communication skill is a 10, everything will be a 10. So your communication skill is really important. Like your communications, your like networkings, and every soft skill I think is really important for your career, not only for your job searchings. Like you need to portray. For example, I will talk with my professor how I would say not brag about how good am I, but I would say how fit am I to his research, right? And then he will think that hey, this student is fit to my research, and he will offer me opportunity to get into the like PhD, for example. So it's easier for people to understand you more, like by your saying, more than your technical reading, because they cannot read like line by line of your coding or your whole projects. They cannot see it, right? They only knows by your saying. So you should talk with them, learn how to talk, and even you are a software engineer, yes, you talk with machines, but in the end, at the end of the day, you still work with people.
Yeah,
So
okay. Yeah, I think
soft
that's a
skill is
that's a
it.
good point. Because
Yeah.
I think it kind of confirm what you've been saying for the whole talk we had today. Like if you imagine like doing hackathon is putting yourself out there. If you have
Mhm.
some, let's say you have a prize or you build something during the hackathon, it definitely a very strong point for someone else to look at and know that you're doing something, right? Because
Mhm.
everyone have like let's be honest, like everyone have some project, everyone have
Mhm.
some personal project, everyone do the basic, but you definitely want to put yourself out there more so
Mhm.
so people can see what you can offer and then realize your like what you can do. Like the same with like cargos or lead code, like the leaderboard, and even like open source internship. Everything is just about make sure that people know that you can actually do the job. Which I
Mhm.
think is very important because even myself sometimes I feel like when I talk to some friend on some problem, I feel like yeah, okay, so we can definitely do the same on the technical level, but he
Mhm.
definitely gonna get more opportunity because he's the only one who know how good I am, but maybe
Mhm.
the whole department know how good he is because of
Mhm.
how he got so many prizes, or maybe like based on
Mhm.
his blog online. So definitely
Mhm.
put yourself out there and advertise yourself more. Basically, you
Yep.
try to sell yourself, right?
Mhm.
So
I think
okay,
it's
so
a I
yeah,
think it's a sales skill. One of the fun fact is one of my hackathon was the winner was doing hard coding. So he hard
uh,
coded everything like, but the UI was good. Everything looks good. His communication is great. He win prize, right? At that time, I was like, why I spend a lot of time doing my backend instead of like learning how to sell my products. That was my first life lesson of learning how to sell, right? We need to
yeah,
sell my old products, my skills, and everything. I think that's the best way for you to become a good software engineer. Like not a
yeah.
technical one, good software engineer.
I agree because
Mhm.
I think people need to be reminded that however technical you are, like
Mhm.
sometimes the HR or sometimes people on the other side may come from different background, right? So
Mhm.
I think until you actually get to the second or maybe third round, but like whoever I think the first to look at your resume, probably like an HR, they may
Mhm.
not see much different in terms of like how technical
Mhm.
it is. But
Yep.
if you can really sell yourself in a nice way, then they can like make sure that they see that you are
Yeah.
very capable. Okay, so
Mhm.
last question before I wrap up our very interesting talk. Um,
Mhm.
what do you think about the job market right now, and how do you think it's gonna change in the time soon? And if you have any advice for people who are, let's say, senior people who are actually looking for a job right now, what is
Mhm.
your advice?
I would think that yes, this is really great like questions. The job markets right now is really harsh. Like I know that like not for internships. Internship was fine. I would say that internship was fine. I know many students got internships in this like era, so I would say internship was fine. But the hard thing is like new grads, right? Because new grad is harsh because they don't want new grad anymore because they think like this as an employer you don't want a new grad who you don't know, right? You don't want to recruit a new don't know, or you can recruit a like 3 years of experience the same price as the new grads. Why I need to hire new grads, right? So those are the thing that is really hard for you if as you have some new grads. But I think that you can still find a jobs. Like I'm not saying in the big techs as a new grads, but you can still find a jobs if you keep grinding. Like grinding, not like I'm not saying like you leak code every day. Yes, that's great, but like selling yourself, give more visibility to recruiters, uh, do like redo your resume, redo adding some new experience and try new things. Like you know that lead coding right now cannot work. It's not like 2021 when you lead code or have a summer camps and then you can go to big tech. It's no longer that time. You need to put yourself out, have more visibility, and learn more about them. And just think like this. I would always advise people like this: is your first job is your milestone, but it's not a life changing thing. After 40 years, you will see that hey, it's my first job. Why I need to be crying about that, right? So things like if you get your first milestone, good, congratulations. If it's not, that's fine. You will keep grinding for the next milestone, right? It's
I see.
not your life goal. It's not your life goal. It's your milestone in your life. You can cry when you get to 80 years old and you cannot meet your life goal, right? You can cry at that time, but you shouldn't cry like at this time because you need to accept that hey, we have a bad market. We need to grind to get to the milestone. If not, I will keep grinding.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
So I see. So
Mhm.
I think it is very important, like what you just mentioned, that I think we should be aware and we should acknowledge that the job market right now it's very different from 1 year, 2 years ago. And
Mm-hmm.
also it's just hard. I think a lot of company with the economy, a lot of company, if they want new grad, they probably prefer someone who have worked with before, which is the interns. So
Mm-hmm.
if you still in school, try your best
Mm-hmm.
to get an intern. But if not, you want to set your expectation in a reasonable range, and maybe you can find maybe a local company or maybe a mid-sized
Mm-hmm.
company. Just try your best.
Mm-hmm.
Just get the
Mm-hmm.
first job done, have some
Mm-hmm.
experience, and then if your goal is, let's say, Google, then you can
Mm-hmm.
take maybe a longer path, but you will
Mm-hmm.
get there if you try and you keep writing every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very nice. And okay, Tony. So I think today let's wrap up. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's very interesting to have the opportunity to meet you today. So now we
Mm-hmm.
know resume is very important. Hackathon
Mm-hmm.
is definitely one of your best friend during college. Open
Mm-hmm.
source, just do something that can give you some recognition, and
Mm-hmm.
because you try to sell yourself to the recruiter,
Yes.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
and be very consistent, and also be aware of the market, and make sure you can keep yourself sane, because I think
Mm-hmm.
it's just hard right now, and
Mm-hmm.
we try our best, and it's gonna take some time, but I hope everyone who's listening and who's not listening gonna find the job that they're looking for. Okay, Tony,
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
it's a great pleasure to talk to you today,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I know you're busy, so I'm not gonna keep you out any
Yes.
longer. So
Mm-hmm.
appreciate the chance to meet
Mm-hmm.
with us, GDG at GMU, and I
Mm-hmm.
hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank
You
you.
too. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank you, Tony.
See ya. Mhm.
See ya.